but they just don't know. People,
Let's go.
people see me, but they just don't know. People see me, but they.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon E, and we're here on 910 Sports once again. You know what I'm saying? Want to thank God for this opportunity to be here and be able to have these great conversations and talk about sports. Hopefully this will be a big year for us. We're working on some bigger names to be able to interview, also continue to interview the people that matter the most, kids, and that's the coaches and the people that's in these kids' lives, and to interview those people. But we definitely working on some bigger interviews this year for 910 Sports. I think that y'all will definitely enjoy. So I want to introduce my right hand man. You know what I'm saying? Your baby mama's favorite host. Barry White Jr. himself. You know what I'm saying? The great Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
Hey, good morning to all, man. I'm glad to be in the land of the living. My motto, each day we get a chance and a choice to get it right. So, we got to thank the man up above because there's somebody that, can't say good morning. So, with that being said, we in the 2024, headed for a great year, some great things. And looking to cover more sports events, commentating and things of that nature. So, working on that as well. And just want to say shout out to all of you for your ongoing support. It's truly, truly, truly greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and before we go into the topics today, rest in peace to Eric Montross. He succumbed to cancer this past week. 52 years old. He was a great player with the Tar Heels back in the 90s. One of the last, one of those true centers, you want to say, back in the 90s that played for the Carolina Tar Heels. Gave his heart and soul. I still remember the game where he got busted up on the court in the Duke game where he was all bloody. I think we ended up pulling that game out, but it just let the rivalry of Carolina and Duke, because he's part of that classic rivalry, and you know what I'm saying, and got busted in one of the games pretty bad, and still stayed out there and prayed through it. So I want to say shout out to him, rest in peace, and extend prayers and healing for him and his family. So well, yeah, bro. So let's get into the topic today, man.
All right.
So
The
the first
first
one.
order of business is Tamiko Ryan, head
Okay.
coach of the year. He has offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. His first year, they make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we first understood that CJ Stroud got drafted to the Texans, we said, well, Ohio State QBs don't do good in the NFL. So will he be the one to change the narrative? Can he change the narrative? Or is he NFL ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we seen after defense coordinator what Ryan's did with San Francisco, how he had them boys right, and we said, okay, head coach position, defensive mind, but what about the Texans offense, man? So how is he going to put that coaching staff together? He did a phenomenal job. His players listen. His players love playing for him, and he motivates them on the field and off the field. So, what do you think about the level that the Texans took it to this year to announce to the NFL, are we back?
Okay, well, before I answer that question, I want to ask you this real quick. So, me and you both know your guy is Trevor Lawrence because he's from Clemson, and that's your guy.
Mhm.
So, uh, well, I guess it really maybe not matter because Houston got in anyway. But so who you rooting for more, Trevor Lawrence or D'Amico Ryan, C.J. Stroud?
Well, I'll say this: my sister is a huge Ohio State fan, so I've had a chance to watch all the Ohio State games out through the years, and my dad was a huge Clemson fan, so I root for them. But I also root for Miami because my aunt lived down there for years. and so, but I don't know, but against I ain't say I'm gonna root for anybody, but I think that with how CJ Stroud looks at the game a little bit different, and he has the attribute of using his legs. I think that he'll have a better playoff run than Trevor, because Trevor has dropped probably 4 out of 6 games, and he didn't look like the same player we seen in the beginning of the year. But he did have a slight concussion. Both of them had slight concussions, and he got that a slight hamstring pull. It's not rupture or nothing like that, but he been playing with that hamstring. So, but I think CJ, man, I just think the Texans are more hungry. You know what I mean? I
Well,
thought,
he
I think Doug Peterson is a great coach as well, but I just think that it's a passion in the drive that Ryan's put inside them, because that's how your Texans are a young team, but he put passion and drive inside them boys, man, like I never seen before.
well, actually, Trevor Lawrence got a bigger problem because he got I'm just been watching it this morning. He got an MCL sprain, a sprain in his arm. Um, I it's a throwing arm too. So he's still questionable for today because he probably got to get out on that field and throw the ball around a little bit just to see if he's gonna be functional enough to even play today. So that's a whole nother argument. It's one thing to have a hamstring and other, but when you talking about a MC sprain in your arm, and you the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? That ain't good at all. And I think they said what you call it had that same injury earlier. Another quarterback had that same Derek Carr starting the season, and they said that's why he looked bad early on. And I want to say that's what what's the name Baker Mayfield was dealing with right before he left the Browns. He was dealing with something like that when he was
Yeah,
having that bad season where he wasn't accurate. He what I'm saying enough to be able to get a win. So that might be troublesome for them. And the thing about the Colts, everybody like, oh, they playing the Colts, they should win that game. But it's one thing, it's a division game, so it's a rival game. And the one thing about the Tennessee Titans, win or lose, they're gonna play you tough. Because they don't really they play traditional football. They're gonna get a ball to Derrick Henry, and they're gonna ground and pound you, and they're gonna try to win a low scoring ball game. So they're not going the Tennessee Titans necessarily going to beat themselves by getting blown out by 30 or 40. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to actually beat them because they're gonna keep the game in a manageable position. And the thing about it is, one thing I say with Houston, they've been more consistent all year long. Jacksonville's been up and down. And the
yeah.
one thing,
Houston won last night.
and the one thing I say about Houston is that they're one team that don't make no excuses about injuries or whatever. Got three of their top receivers was out last night. You know what I'm saying? And they still was able to pull out that win. So they don't make excuses for people being out and all that kind of stuff. And so I really believe so I'm going for D'Amico Ryans. One, because we already know when it comes to head coaches, they get when they get a shot, they shot is based on wins and losses, and even that's not good enough. I.e., Detroit Lions. What's my man called? What's his name? That coached the Lions a few years ago. Went 10-6 and still lost his job. So
Lovey Smith too from Chicago Bears, 10-6 and lost his job.
yeah, so basically, we already know when it comes to black coaches, unless you dang near win the Super Bowl, and everybody not gonna be Mike Tomlin, where you long as you got a winning record, that you're in an organization that's gonna keep you around because they just run their organization as of almost like a regular business. They don't run it like a sporting business. They run it like a regular business where it's more about loyalty for them. And if we do have a bad year, it's like if you ran a restaurant or something, and if this year if your restaurant don't have the best numbers, and you're not selling as much food, you readjust and you go find a way to make more money selling food or selling product or whatever next year. And that's kind of way that the Steelers always ran. It's more like they run their business of even if we have he's won every year, never had a losing. Always improve. Really be honest with you, still probably just a quarterback away from being right there in the Super Bowl contention. Truth be told, you know what I mean. I wouldn't be. I mean, if I was them, I would go after Justin Fields. I would even trade for Russell Wilson if I was the Steelers at this point. You know what I mean? Just because that'll give you a veteran quarterback, come in for a couple of years, give you a legit chance to win. So if I was the Steelers, I would at least kick the tires around on Russell Wilson. I'm gonna keep talking because what you call fell off for a second. But yeah, I would if I was the Steelers, I would definitely kick the tires around on Russell Wilson. I think that quarterback away from at least being in Super Bowl contention. You know what I'm saying? And you bring a veteran like
Oh,
that,
back up now. Ho. Well, you say you do what? You still talk to me
I,
now?
I would kick the tires around on Russell Wilson if I was them. You know what I mean? Because they're a quarterback away. They got all the pieces. They got defenses good. You know, they got offensive pieces. They might they might need to add maybe a backup running back, maybe an extra receiver, whatever. But if I was them, I would definitely kick the tires on Russell Wilson or whatever because they right there at the cusp of at least being in a conversation of getting to a Super Bowl. Because
You're
how
right.
many, you know what I mean? Because how many teams in the FC really got a legit chance? Let's just say going in next year. Kansas City gonna do something to improve their team. So you're gonna put Kansas City. They still got the best quarterback in the league. Baltimore, yeah, but Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? And you only got to win 2 or 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. You gonna tell me Pittsburgh don't got a good enough team where they couldn't go on a run if they had a Russell Wilson under Mike Tomlin pushing the button versus some of these other coaches?
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And then I'll just say, they said they're gonna release Russell Wilson. He ain't got to worry about a job because somebody gonna call him, bro. You better believe that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cause if we look at his statistics, man, his numbers ain't bad. His numbers is still like top 10 for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at his age, when you can still even be relevant in the top 10, I would say you're doing pretty. It might not look good, it might look ugly, but the stats ain't lying. You know what I mean?
But see, the thing about the Steelers, they're gonna have a running game. So the thing about it, they're gonna take some of that pressure off of him because they're gonna run the ball. You know what I
Right.
mean? Think about with Ben Roethlisberger, even with Big Ben. Big Ben always had a running game behind him. Jerome Bettis, you know what I'm saying? He always had a running game behind him. So the pressure wasn't always on him to make every play. And then his defense was always thorough. So that's really the formula the Steelers has always been up under. That's why I said I feel like if they got a Russell Wilson, I feel like they would definitely have a legit chance of going to the Super Bowl.
I think you're right, but the next topic, and I know you about to get on my head, but I seen this report, and because I've been on the sports blogs group on Facebook, and a very reputable source shared it, through his group, and I said, how about that? So apparently, this past week, 5 teams have contacted Antonio Brown about helping them make a playoff run. Apparently, you know, I don't. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to ruin your Sunday morning, man. I'm not trying to have you open up the word and give me a whole sermon. But apparently, man, somebody ain't got enough. You know what I mean? I told my brother that yesterday before he went out of town. He said, man, AB is a hell of a receiver, man. Man, he can separate. He can go downfield to get the ball, but AB is a mental case waiting to happen in somebody's locker room. I said, well, I'm just saying what they said. Hey, man, don't shoot the messenger, man. I ain't the district attorney. I ain't trying to bring it to the judge. But all I'm saying is, apparently somebody ain't learned their lesson, or like, why would 5 teams even be interested? Is it just based off he a talent? They ain't really worried about his mental capacity or his emotional capacity. Is it based off them looking at him as a talent that can still help? What is that based off of in your eyes?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say this: dealing with AB is like if women is talking, and the one woman says to the other woman, "Girl, I seen Tyrone at the mall, bumped into him. He asked about you. Oh, for real? Yeah, you should give him a call." Then she give him a call. Tyrone might, had, might have been good in the bed, might even had a little bit of money, all of that. But what did Tyrone do? Tyrone might have beat on you. Tyrone might have cheated on you. Tyrone might have went days without calling. Tyrone did all this other stuff, but you still leaning on the fact that he had good sex and he had good money. So you want to bring him in based off of those good things that he do. All the other stuff is trifling and messed up in the world.
Man, guess who
So
they say? Guess who they say? Guess who he said could be one of them teams? Because they inquired earlier this year,
who?
and they said that Andy Reid and
I,
Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes disagreed on it, but Kelsey and Holmes said bring him in, for a shot. You know what I mean? So they
well, the
said
only
that
way
they hold now. They said that Mahomes don't think he would act like that under Andy Reid. That's what Mahomes said. He said, I don't think he would act like that under Andy Reid.
Okay, so the only way this would make sense is the fact that it's only for maybe possibly 1 or 2 games. So I don't think Antonio Brown would have enough time to really act the fool. See, the thing about it was when he was with Tampa, he was with like a whole season. So he had enough time to build up his stupidity and his arrogance and whatever with Tom Brady. And my thing is this: I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, but if you can't act right with Tom Brady and he got all these accolades and whatever, and you can't respect him and the man house.
What
That's
what 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 Antonio Brown said, he said, man, this was never about Brady, bro. This was about this coach. This had been going on for 5 or 6 games, man. Like we, and it wasn't me, man. He said that it's like Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, and I know Jerry got mad when he said it. It's like you didn't want to give Amari Cooper his incentives, and you ain't want to give him what he was owed for the following year. So that's why you made an excuse to get rid of him, and you sent him to a team that you thought he couldn't shine with. But if we look at it now, Cooper had a very, very, very good season, bro. A very, very, very good season. So he was like, people be thinking that it's players all the time. That's not it. But they act like we should have all this professionalism when we get blackballed and railroaded. You know what I mean? They don't want to be paying money. It's like Shannon Sharp and Ocho said, uh, 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 Russell Wilson. That's why I think it's the NPLA said that Denver could be brought up on some type of charges if Russell Wilson seek legal counsel,
well,
cause that's a breach. Cause that's a breach of contract.
I'm gonna say, man,
Mm.
you my brother,
Yeah,
but,
man. I'm just saying,
but
Icon. Look, man. Don't come down on me and bam the hammer like we in the courtroom on me, man. I'm just
mm,
saying what people are saying. I'm just here to report the news. That's all.
ain't even talking about none of that. But people like you who sit here and give him an out or an excuse is the
I didn't
problem.
I didn't give him an excuse. I'm saying what people are saying. This is not what I said. That's not set in stone what I've written. I'm just here to report the news, man. Can I
I'm just
can I do my job?
I get Antonio Brown being upset about his money. Would be the same way, but it's always a way you handle stuff. The way he did it and cut the food on the field and did all of that wasn't necessary. If you felt that way, boycott. Don't play the game. Whatever. Do something different, but don't show up your quarterback, your teammates, and all of that. Then prove a point. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else. It's other players you think. I mean, what you call it? Well, look at what my man down, Chris Jones. Chris Jones just sat out till he got his money. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So it's other ways to do it. I'd rather you act the fool and be like Ice Cube. Go in there and tell Bill Belichick or Robert Kraft office. Feel that seriously, but don't go out there on the team. Don't go out there with your teammates. Don't pull a Bobby Brown. Don't pull a doggone. You know what I'm saying? When you on there acting up in the when it's game time.
I mean, it just it just make me think that you about to start singing. Don't be cruel.
I'm
I
just saying,
would never be that cruel to you.
yeah, I love.
You know.
Hey, I love Bobby Brown. He one of my favorite people as far as the things he been through and ever in the music industry. But at the same time, he was dead wrong the way he would handle stuff, or whatever. If he felt the way he felt, you don't cut up
Excuse me.
on the but you don't do Draymond Green type activities to get your point across. I mean, it's just certain things.
Now, speaking of that, now you can't tell me that Antonio Brown is worse than Draymond Green. I know it's a totally different sport, and I know it's a totally different organization. But Antonio Brown, he ain't choking nobody out, bro. He ain't he ain't step on nobody's chest, bro. Like Draymond is WWE. He's UFC. Uh, you know, a fighter, but he's just in a Golden State Warriors uniform for him. And Antonio Brown is just a person, that he feel like enough is enough. I mean, I don't agree with his tactics, but I'm just here to report the news, Icon. I
But
just wanted to see what you think and what the viewership think. I
well,
just want to report the news.
well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Well, Dre, you're right. Draymond Green is worse. But I don't. But you know how when you see a little kid in the mall, and I had a nephew. I got a nephew that when he was a baby coming up, he was real bad. And he was so bad that I ain't even like being around the kid. And then I finally thought about it, and I said, you know what? It ain't his fault he bad. It's his mama, it's his aunts, it's all these other people around, even his dad. There's people around him that cause him to be bad because they don't discipline the boy. They don't come down on him. They let him do what he want. They let him talk reckless. I said, so it's really not his fault that he is the way he is because he don't know no better. And the thing about somebody like a Draymond Green is the way he is because the NBA done allowed it. The coach Steve Kerr takes up for him. Doggone the referees let him get away with it. And then when it finally become too much, then all of a sudden now they want to come down on him when they wasn't doing that before. And it's like you can't either you gonna stand on the side of right or you're gonna stand on the side of wrong. Can't have it both ways. And then when it hits you in the face, now all of a sudden you want to do something about it. They done waited too long to try to check Draymond Green. Now I'm very curious to see when he comes back if he's going to be any better than what he was. Like if he's going to stop referees, if he's going to stop running up and galloping down the court and doing temper tantrums every time he don't get a call or get his way. So I'm very
Well,
curious to see how.
Icon, to be honest with you, I think this is the last straw for two players on this team, and they're gonna ask for a trade after the maybe during the All Star break or after the off season. I think Clay is going to become a Laker. I think
Mhm.
Clay dad is in his ear, and his dad played with Magic and them. His dad done got Magic on the phone. His dad probably been talking to Kareem. He played with all of them. You know, I think that he's gonna try to shoot the shot to make a case for his son to be in LA, with LeBron.
Mhm.
And and I think that Wiggins might go back closer to home. You know what I mean? I think he might even want to because him and MB pretty close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think Wiggins might join Philly, and I think Philly would take his contract because he'll bring something different to Philly. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that they all tired of it. Steph tired of it. Clay tired of it. Kerr tired of it. Wiggins tired of it, and I just think that Draymond Green couldn't have played in the era with Rob and them, bro. They would have really put some on him, man.
And Chris Paul need to call Timu. He need to call Amazon. He need to call. He need to call somebody and get him a new hand. Cause this man had 5 broken hands in one hand. He need to
It,
call. He need to call Jesus. He need to call somebody and ask them to overnight him a new hand. I ain't never seen that.
well, man. We all know that Chris Paul on his last leg, hand, and all the above, man. So maybe he can call Wish and get a new hand. But
No,
I don't know, man. He old though. He old, bro. He been playing a long time, man. So I don't think he got nothing else to prove. He's the only point guard with over 23,000 points and 11,000 assists. The only point guard that did that. So in history,
Well, if I was Golden State, if I was gonna come on two, it would be him. Because thing about it was Chris Paul never wanted to be there. You know what I'm
no.
saying? Kind of forced to go to State. So if I was Golden State, I would see, okay, come All Star break, come trade deadline. This not working. We're not gonna do anything. Let's just get off of this person. Give Chris Paul maybe one last chance. I don't know. Send him somewhere else that may have a legit chance of winning something, and maybe he can be a backup point guard in Philly or what I'm saying, Milwaukee or somewhere else. But I would ship him out, or whatever, along with whoever
Because
Wiggins.
he don't care nothing about stars. So I mean, you right. He don't care
Yeah,
nothing about that, man. He don't care nothing about that. He know he done had his best years. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I truly think, man, and it probably ain't gonna happen, man. But it's like I was listening to Richard Jefferson and Jay Will, and they was like, if you don't think that Melo can give you 15 and 8 a game, you're crazy. He was like, they just did him dirty, and so I really think, man, that but I don't think he enjoyed being there for his son at every game now, till he ain't even mentioned the NBA no more. I think he really enjoying fatherhood, bro.
Because I think it's one of those things where when you realize that you're not appreciated no more or wanted no more, why to keep fighting? Why fight
Excuse me.
when obviously the NBA shown you they don't want you around? So I
Right.
would I wouldn't keep trying to fight against that when or whatever. And to go back to Andrew Wiggins for a second, think about this: when he was in Minnesota, and the owner had to come to him right before he gave him his big contract and said, "Listen, I need for you to show more passion and love for the game before I give you this money. Can you do that for me?" So for you, if you even have me as an owner, ain't no way in the world I would have gave you that money. Now, when he gets to Golden State, motivation to win. And the one thing I heard them say last made a lot of sense when they were talking about him and Aaron Gordon. Even though they came in as top five type players in the league as far as where they was drafted, sometimes you realize you're not that. And Andrew Wiggins was better suited as being a third scorer on a team versus being a number guy. Now that he got his title, I don't think he's motivated to win anymore like he was. He's already got his money, got his title. Now, if he was already
So
showing,
so hold on. Andrew Wiggins has gotten two big paydays, right? Already.
so yeah, he got one from Minnesota. Then after any Golden State just paid him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because remember they paid him and they paid Draymond and
Jordan Poole.
they paid Jordan Poole, and that's why I think Klay Thompson is hurt because it's like everything I've given y'all and y'all giving everybody else bread before y'all get me, and he's gonna come either in the midnight hour or it's gonna be one of those things where they're gonna have to part ways. So
And,
I
and they still ain't gave Clay his bread, right?
know that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if they're gonna give him his bread or if they're gonna lowball him on his bread or what however that
Oh,
goes.
oh he definitely leaving after this year, bro. Cause we can say what we want to say, man, but if he don't end up in LA, Clay can go somewhere and be an attribute and an asset to a team. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because I just feel like at this point it's time to kind of break that whole thing up. They not. I don't think they're gonna put themselves back in contention on winning. Too much going on. Draymond Green, I think it's gonna be like you said, gonna be gone. And then Clay, I think them young boys. The thing about them young boys, they hungry and they want that spot. And it's not they're not gonna have that same continuity and chemistry that they once had because everybody else trying to get the fame. Moody and them they want their spotlight. So they not gonna really necessarily listen. And then Steph Curry is not a vocal type leader. So them boys ain't really they don't got nobody that's gonna really lead them to take them to another level. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And Steve Kerr, he to me, he's more loyal to his guys and he's more trying to take up for them than anything else. So that's why they fell out with Jordan Poole because Steve Kerr and and Draymond and what they already clicked up. So you got Draymond, you got Clay, you got Steph, and you got Steve Kerr right there, all clicked up together. You know what I'm saying? So, so they not gonna come on. I think time for them to kind of break that up and figure something else out. You know what I mean, or whatever. You probably got to put 3, 4 more years out of Steph Curry. Get you some more veterans in to put around him. You know what I mean? Let them young boys go somewhere, and maybe some of them young boys go. You know what I mean? And get veterans if you're really trying to win something again.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right. I can dig it. I can dig it. So, moving on, man. We're gonna keep it basketball, and then we're gonna go into the college football, and
Mhm.
we're gonna go into the breaking news of college football that happened yesterday as well. Um, Ja Morant,
Mhm.
he's been back for a little bit now. He's on a tear, you know. But I just feel like it's Ja always doing what he did on the court. So, with that being said, when you first seen Ja and he said he keep receipts, my female cousin Kelly told me why he just couldn't go off the court, run into the locker room, and let it be done. Why he got to yell like he keep receipts. She said Ja Morant ain't learned ish. Do you agree or disagree?
Um, I don't necessarily say agree or disagree. I just think that's personality, and sometimes a person gotta still be within who they are, but they just gotta control it. You know what I'm saying? You could still be animated. You could still be passionate about what you do, but it's a way you control it. Because the thing about what he do for it really has no, is not the same of what he's off the court with the guns and the other stuff.
But I come people from South Carolina that know Ja Morant and that see him grow up, that see him coming through the ranks playing ball. We all know that money changed Ja. We all
Hmm.
know that Ja wasn't that kid. Ja wasn't that
Yeah.
vocal kid. Ja just did you on the court. He wasn't that trash talking kid. Like him
Hmm.
is it's a dude I grew up with. His name is Crisis Bryant. His son was on the same AAU team with Ja Morant and Zion. So
Hmm.
like he know these cats when they was kids. And so with that being said, man, like money do change people. And I don't think Ja changed his circle. I could be wrong. I hope he has, but a lot of times, man, when you get money, you don't want people that you know to feel like you've turned your back on them. But you're in a whole different. You should be in a whole different mind space, because even though people may believe, but a lot of people will tell you eventually they had to change. I obviously say it all the time. Eventually, I had to change my circle. It got so bad for me to Stern said, "I know who you hanging with, and I know what they doing. You definitely need to change your environment." He said it got so bad till the commissioner gave him a call. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Well, let
So,
me let me say it like this. Let me say this. So, what? Let's just take away the stuff that happened off the court. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it on the court. Now, the only thing I would say that he may be wrong, he said out his mouth was, "I keep receipts," because the receipts you should supposed to be keeping for yourself, not everybody else, because you the one that made those mistakes. So
uh-huh.
let's just take that statement out for a second. Steph Curry, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kobe, uh, Kevin Garnett, certain players talk junk on the court. Shannon
That's what.
Sharp, they talk
Yeah,
junk on the court. So, and even like Steph is probably, when it comes to the way he trolls and talks junk on the, well, I ain't gonna necessarily even talk junk, the way he just bounces around and does the sleep good night thing and all that on the court. He's probably the most arrogant when it comes to all of that on the court in this day and age, in this era of basketball, anybody else. So if you take away the off court stuff and let's say Ja Morant does what he does on the court, talks junk, do all that kind of stuff. To me, I think it's just part of the game. It's just part
yeah.
of
I
basketball.
mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. But all my cousins said, she was like, "Man, we know you, Jai. We've been watching you, man. Like, let it die down, cause it's still fresh in people's mind of what you did. Just kind of let it die down, man. You ain't have to yell. You know how some people say, man, you ain't have to explain that. You ain't have to
Yeah.
yell that. We know. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is the keep receipt business off of? I mean, but to each his own. I don't have no problem with it. If that's what he do, that's what he do. Because Kevin Garnett said Tim Duncan was a, a, a quiet trash talker, talk
Hmm.
junk on the low. He said
Yeah.
every time Tim Duncan would do me, He'd be like, "You all right, big fella? I got
Mm-hmm.
you." You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
just realize that you ain't the best at power forward. He
yeah.
said, "Quiet jump," and he said it'll get you so mad because it wasn't loud. It was
Mm-mm.
it was like he just talking to you. Jump. Well, he ain't want everybody to hear. He just
Mm-hmm.
know, man. Just know you're the loud when I'm not, and I'm gonna bother you all game long. And he said that's what Tim Duncan did to people. They said Tim Duncan used to getting people mental on the low. He said so bad, bro.
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
how.
I said, I said, quiet, Tim Duncan. He's like, man. He was like, man, he was telling Gilbert. He was like, man, y'all don't even know, man. Tim Duncan used to talk so much trash, but the ref couldn't hear it. Your teammates couldn't hear it. It'd be just you and him running down the court, real quiet, real settled, and he's just looking at you like you're real stupid.
Yeah, that's how they said that Gilbert said Kobe used to be. He like Kobe went really he went no trash talker. And Kobe used to do like mess with your head and be like, if you foul, let's say you foul Derek Fisher or Smush Parker, and then Kobe will look at you and say, "Oh, so you gonna waste that foul on him? You know you're gonna need them other five for me now." You know what I'm saying? So like you just that was stupid what you did. Like he'll mess with you and be like, "Yeah, you stupid." You know what I'm saying? Like you just fouled him. Why would you foul him knowing you gotta still guard me? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what somebody head see in a different way.
Yeah, like so he'll get on you and it make you be like, dang, he is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I foul him knowing I still gotta guard this guy over here or whatever the case may be? So, or he like, like Mon Shumpton said he was talking junk to Kobe one game, and he said Kobe really didn't even say much. He said he said he would kind of shut them down the first couple of quarters. He said that third and fourth, Kobe just went crazy on him. You know what I'm saying? Well, not just on him, but his teammates too. He just
Oh man.
he went over to the bench and I forgot who the coach was at the time. He said the coach just looked at him like he looked at the coach like, well, what you want me to do? Like ain't nothing, I did everything I could do. Like, what you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So he was like, yeah. So it was kind of like that thing. But yeah, let's get it to yeah, okay. Well, what's this breaking news you said?
So first we're gonna before the breaking news, I'm gonna say this. Nick Saban play calling in the fourth quarter, the final 2 minutes and the overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So have you think his play calling has Nick lost the touch? He's getting too old because 6 years ago he wouldn't have played it like that. It would have been a whole different dispersal play calling. So what do you think? Do you think Nick is losing the touch, or he's not as motivated to be a coach as he used to be, or 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 he just got out coached?
I think he got out coached. I think that what you call I think Harbaugh got in his head as far as because thing about it was I tell everybody I said Alabama was getting dominated on the line the whole game. The game was closer than what it been because Michigan was making stupid mistakes. But Alabama was getting dominated. The offensive line was getting dominated. Jalen Milroe didn't have no time all night on the defensive on defensive line. I mean the offensive line or the defensive line getting dominated because in the fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter, that little running back was killing them. You know what I'm saying? And overtime was killing them. So they was getting dominated in the trenches. So I think when it came down to the end of the game on that last play, what I would have done, they could have still run the same play, but I would have spread it out. I would have put four receivers on, I put two on each side to spread the defense out, and then I would have ran that draw because then now, all you would have had then was that front four and maybe a couple of linebackers, but your corners and your safety had the guard on the out had to been worried about you throwing the ball on the outside. What they did, they condensed everything and thought he was gonna run 5 yards up the field against a condensed line. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't make any sense. So I think, or I would have done an RPO where you would have swung them out and then gave him the option to throw the ball, or if everybody would have been kind of guarding their man, then you try to
That's
run.
but that's the thing, Icon. It was a receiver open and the tight end was open, and
But it was
Michigan.
never a passing play. It was never a passing play. That's why
But
they was.
what I know, but if you look at the tape, man, like he could have drawn up some passing plays that throw Michigan totally off, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because they was out there one time in a double set tight end, and one of the tight ends was blocking, but the other one was wide open.
Right.
So like I just don't really think that I don't think Nick is what he used to be. You know what I'm saying? And it gets like Bill Belichick, his time up. You know what I'm saying? His time up. And I don't know if he's gonna walk away from the game, but Robert Kraft already said he's gonna part ways with Bill Belichick. In fact, Patriots fans, a lot of them feel like he should have parted ways he should have parted ways with him after Tom Brady left, because he is the reason why Tom Brady left.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, Nick Saban, T.O. is from Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and T.O. has been on the campus, and some some college reporters said that they heard on inside in from somebody in the athletic department of Alabama is Nick Saban is prepared to offer T.O. a lot of money as the wide receiver coach. So what do you think could happen with that? Do you think it could be a good thing, or it shouldn't be a good thing, or what do you think?
I mean, anytime you can get somebody a living legend in their position to be able to come in and coach your positional players, I think could always be a positive thing. It's just a matter of whether or not he can coach it. Because some players can ex players can they can do all day long, but they can't necessarily coach something the way explain it. You ever been around? I'm gonna give you a quick story. I had a professor when I was in college, and I was going to school for like IT stuff, computer stuff, programming and stuff. And we had a professor that everybody complained about because he was super smart. And I want to say, I forgot, it was called Linux, I think was the programming. And Linux, if you don't think about Linux programming is one of the hardest programs to learn, especially when you kind of just getting into it. And I remember he was super smart, but he couldn't teach it because he would teach over your head. And so you be more confused walking out the classroom than you did when you walked in. And I think sometimes people can do something all day long, but if you ask them to explain it to you, they can't do it. And I'm not saying T.O. can't, but you got to understand when especially you're dealing with certain positions like wide receiver, they have to buy into what you're telling them. You know what I'm saying? And what you're trying to teach them. And everybody can't necessarily, or depending on what kind of style you are. Let's say you're Eric Bieniemy style, where everybody can't handle that harsh criticism and that in your face type coaching, whatever. That's why why he can't get a head coaching job because now people complaining about he too harsh.
Every Bieniemy, even though he an offensive minded coach, Eric Bieniemy ain't nothing but a new Mike Singletary. That's why Mike Singletary coaching tactics ain't last in as a head coach for too long, because they
Mm-hmm.
said that he was too hardcore. I remember Vernon Davis said that I can't be talked to like that, and I thought, talk to like that? You a grown man? What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you kind of old school, but I think I think that learning from Jerry Rice and being teachable when you was coming in the NFL and you had Jerry Rice teaching you and coaching you outside of the offensive coordinator, Jerry Rice, because he said that Jerry Rice did a lot for me mentally, emotionally, and as far as the game wise techniques. So
Mm-hmm.
if he learned from the best person that we have named as wide receiver ever, I think he maybe could teach these young fellas something because he learned from the best.
But if I was I would want to go somewhere that would be more challenging. Alabama don't need that's not what they need. Alabama don't really need wide receiver coaches. Like they've had so many like thoroughbred wide receivers coming out of Alabama. You dang throw them out there and they don't need a coach the way them boys play. I would want to go somewhere where I would be challenged to go somewhere that struggled to get great wide receivers and you went to a school where you groomed some wide receivers coming out of a program where people say where T.O. Turned created great wide receivers out of, let's just say, a Duke or I don't know whoever, State Carolina or
Okay,
some
okay, I see.
you know
I see what you're saying, but I just thought it was interesting that they said that Nick Saban is going to offer him a job during the
because
offseason.
I'm just gonna say this before we move on because Nick Saban, even when his coaches are great, he gets all the credit for them being great. The coach don't get the credit, he does. And then when they terrible, then they say, see, they even though they had Nick Saban or they had Bill Belichick, they still weren't worth nothing when they were head coaches. So Nick Saban and Bill Belichick don't get the criticism when them coaches is bad. They only get the credit when them coaches end up being good. So I think it's not necessarily a win for T.O. It's more of a win for Nick Saban if T.O. becomes good. But if the wide receivers gonna be great anyway, because they get 5-star wide receivers anyway. So
Right, right. So, what do you think that Urban Meyer is going to bring to Michigan State next year?
I mean, they might win a few more games. I don't necessarily know. He might turn them into a juggernaut. Who knows? It's gonna take a few years. I don't think it's gonna be like out the gate. Where they
But they still a way over 500 team when it comes to winning ball games. They just ain't in the top four. You know what I mean?
That's a
So,
weird team he picked. Okay,
I mean, it is. So,
that threw
um,
me. It's just take
yeah, who, who's your top? You said Patrick Mahomes still the best quarterback in the league. Okay.
definitely.
So, what do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to do in the playoffs? Is it going to be a run? Cause you got to think Patrick Mahomes has got to play on the road this year. He usually playing at home.
Nah, I think they might get one win. I was looking at the pad playoff picture earlier before we started this morning, but I want to address a couple of things anyway about the playoffs. I'm glad we went there because I want to address that. But I was going to do more of the AFC because AFC is still kind of up in the air. Who's going to play who? But right now, the Chiefs would be in position to play either the Miami Dolphins or the Bills, depending on who wins that game. So I think if they played either one, they would play at home in the first game. So they may be able to pull it off, but I don't see them running to the Super Bowl. As of right now, I see the Ravens getting to the Super Bowl. I don't see.
Yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
everybody.
I would say if somebody knocked San Francisco off, Dallas will probably end up in the Super Bowl. But that ain't likely. You know what I mean? Because they got too much firepower, bro. You know.
Well,
And Philly don't look as good as they looked last year. Like I don't really know what happened. Like they proclaimed that it's trouble in that locker room. You know, as far as AJ Brown is not getting the ball enough. You know, as far as linebackers are missing assignments and stuff like that. And so is as far as that, Jaden Hurst has been very disruptive in the locker room. I don't know how true that is, but a lot of people from Philly and their fans say he's not that type of guy. But I said, you don't know what type of guy when the pressure on you, you the quarterback, and they just gave you all this money. And you still look horrible. Like in a lot of wins they won, Icon, they look horrible. They don't look like the same team they look like they did last year.
well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm glad you said that. I thought about it this morning. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. Don't be surprised if the Eagles made a run to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna tell you why. It has nothing to do with the way they played, the way they looked, all that kind of stuff. The reason why I say they might have make a run to the Super Bowl because when everybody is doubting you and talking down on you, sometimes your pride to kick in. Sometimes that competitive spirit to kick in. And the thing about the Eagles, they're talented enough to still make a run. They
That's
just
true.
whatever reason, chemistry wise, it's just not. They haven't been gelling. But if they come together for these next few games, it's going to say a lot about Jalen Hurts. It's going to say a lot about their coach and their team. So don't be surprised if they did just still run the table or at least make to the NFC Championship game based off the fact everybody's doubting. Everybody is crowning the 49ers. We know sometimes the Cowboys, and it's not even necessarily the players' fault, but sometimes the press clippings and make the Cowboys feel like they better than what they are because they get put up on a pedestal instead of like let's say in LA or New York or somewhere where no matter how good you play during the regular season, everybody like, nope, we don't care how good you play. Y'all need to win in the playoffs. and I think sometimes the Cowboys play, they'll win a game, and next thing you know, they at the club the same night, or they at a restaurant getting free food off of that one win. So they feel like they did something. You know what I'm saying? Based off of that. So, so I just feel like, I wouldn't count the Eagles out just yet
Oh, I ain't
until they.
counting them out, but I'm just saying they don't look the same. They don't play with the same intensity as I remember them playing with last year for the whole season and throughout the playoffs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
But
so
let's
but
go
but,
back
but it's gonna
to
be
this.
interesting.
Let me
Go
let
ahead.
me go back to college football for a second, because we gotta talk about who we gonna win tomorrow night. And I want to, before we talk about who win and lose, I want to say this, because I know you one of those people, and I'm not, upset with you about it. I understand, but you one of those people don't think Michigan should have never been in the Final Four. But I'm gonna say this: the reason why I'm not so down on Michigan about being there, because in society we've learned over the last couple of years that we pick and choose who we want to fight our battles against.
But you know
So
why I think that though, Icon?
why is that?
Because they've been there before in the playoffs, bro, and they always let you down. And I feel like if Nick Saban had a better game plan, they wouldn't be there. Or but I feel like I know why they wanted them there, because they wanted a good game. Because they feel like Nick Saban would have beat the living dog mess out of Florida State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they feel like Michigan would beat the dog mess out of Florida State. So, I mean, it's several teams that lost one game. You know what I mean? That ain't made the playoffs. So it's gonna be interesting whether they go to eight teams or 12 teams next year. Now that's gonna be very interesting.
No, they already said it's 12 teams. It's definitely 12 teams.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 12 teams. Now that's gonna be interesting. But
But
I
no, no, no,
think that
no. You let me finish my point.
okay, go ahead,
What
go
I
ahead, friend.
what I was gonna say is that we pick and choose our battles in this situation, because when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady cheated, they should have then said a president then, if you're gonna cheat, then you can't be in the biggest game, or you got something's taken from you other than draft picks or suspended for a couple of games. The title got to be taken. They done punished Pete Rose for 30 years, and they let that slide. And so when they let that go, then you can't be mad when the Houston Astros. When the Houston Astros cheated, they still won two titles after the fact that they cheated, and they didn't really get punished. So now when it comes to Michigan, we want to punish Michigan or whatever, what I'm saying, in his acts or whatever, and we didn't punish the people before him. So no, if you're not
I
gonna
see
punish.
your point. Yeah. I see your point. But right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter who it is. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So I see your point. But do I think an undefeated team should have had been set out the playoffs? No, it went. It really wasn't based on Jim Harbaugh and his sign stealing. It was based on how can you leave an undefeated team out.
And I get what you're saying, Chris, about Pete Rose, but how long do you punish a man for something for that act? Pete Rose had the most hits in the NBL history. He
Man,
had one of the highest
you can't,
batting.
you can't talk about Pete Rose, without mentioning. If you mention baseball, you got to mention Pete Rose. Facts, and that's facts. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah, it's like I get with him being suspended. I get for him being suspended or being left out for maybe, let's say, 5 years. But we talking about 30 years later and the man still being punished. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No, he should. Pete Rose definitely needs. If Pete Rose put like this, if Pete Rose and Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, I don't take it legit, because even Barry Bonds was killing it. He was a 10-time Gold Glove and a 30-30 guy before the steroid situation. You know what I'm
But
saying?
but
So
Chris, just to respond to Chris, we don't want to see Pete Rose. We want to see him in the Hall of Fame, but we don't need to see that when he's dead. I need to see him take his Hall of Fame acceptance speech, put on his jacket, bro. Like we deserve to see that, bro. We kids that grow up watching Pete Rose. A lot of kids play baseball because of Pete Rose. You know what
hmm
I mean? I know. I played baseball because of Reggie Jackson. Facts.
hmm
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I,
Facts. I played baseball because of Reggie Jackson and Tony Gwynn and people like that, man. You know what I mean?
hmm hmm That's what I said. That's what I said. So to me, and that's what I said. Right is right. When you say right is right and wrong is wrong, that's my point. Is that we can't start trying to set up different rules for people now that we didn't if we didn't already set the rules before. We should have set the rules. I put it like this: we'd have set the rules on Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. We wouldn't have the stuff we got going on today. Period.
Now, I can if they don't revoke Brett Favre from being in the Hall of Fame. I know he there, but when I say revoke, man, you sold $1,000 of food, stole $1,000 of food stamps. How you a millionaire and you rip off social services like that?
Well, you know why they not going to revoke Brett Favre? Because if they did, then they would have to start pulling a lot of people. O.J. Simpson, they have to go back. They would have to start pulling a lot of folks because there's a lot of folks that in the Hall of Fame that I ain't say a lot, but it's enough people in the Hall of Fame that could make that Hall of Fame be tarnished by some of their acts off the court or off the field or whatever. So you would have to start. You would start to go. Well, he did this, and he did that, he did this, and he did that. So that's why I said they have to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's the Pete Rose is a travesty because baseball is the only sport that didn't separate the two. You know what I'm saying? What you know what I mean? You know, I get what he did had something to do with baseball at the time, but at some point you got to let it go. And then even with Barry Bonds' situation, he never got caught. It's still based stuff is still based off of some assumption. It's never been based off of facts.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean? That's what always pissed me off with Barry Bonds. We can assume whatever we want to assume, but you didn't prove that that man was on steroids like you did Mark McGuire and or whatever. And the thing about Mark McGuire, he got snitched on. So, you know what I'm saying? By old boy, by Jose Canseco. You know what I'm saying? Him and Sammy Sosa and them boys. So, and I think they end up.
Roger Clemens too. He was talking a lot too, snitching.
Yeah, so them boys. Well, I think he got snitched on too, Roger Clemens. You know what I'm saying? I think he did some snitching himself, but he got snitched on first, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but Barry Bonds, based off the fact that he got bigger and his head got bigger, and everybody, oh, he on steroids. And then when they did the test on him, it came back inconclusive. It never came back that he was on steroids. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's just my 2 cents on it. You know, whatever based off of that. But um, but yeah, that's kind of where we at on that. Any
Yeah.
more?
No, man. I just want to say, man, I want everybody to enjoy this last Sunday of the regular season, and the playoffs is on the way. And Jerry Jones just announced that he's going to give Dak Prescott a $60 million extension, and a lot of fans are in an uproar that don't like Dallas, and Dallas fans in the uproar. They say for what? I say because Jerry can. If you want to call it and ask Jerry why, he might he might tell you we can sit down and talk about it, but drinks on you.
Well,
but Jerry gonna be Jerry, man. Whether we like it or not, Jerry gonna be Jerry. And if he want to give a player that he drafted some money, he gonna do that. He gonna do that. Believe that.
well. I'm gonna say this. Yeah, Chris, I 100% agree. He said, "Father scumbag." Yeah. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Chris. He never got. And I'm gonna say this about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, and I try. My
This
boy,
should be good.
my,
This should be good. This should
no,
be good.
no. I ain't gonna dog him out because my boy, he hit me up when I do my top 5 every week, and he said, "Oh, you getting good, you getting better," because I put Cowboys number 2. I said I try to be fair. I'm not gonna
Uh-huh.
give a spot just because one way. I'm not gonna keep you out of a spot or put you in a spot because I like you or dislike you. I'm going by what I'm looking at. You know,
Right.
my final 5 after today's game, and whether teams lose or win, it's not going to be based because I've been basing it off of wins and losses each week, like a top 5 in college football. But this week I'm gonna base it off of going into the playoffs because this week is kind of skewed because a lot of people not playing. Just like Lamar Jackson didn't play yesterday. Some of the 49ers may not play today because they locked up. So they may lose because most of their players, because they already locked up, they seed. So certain teams and players, some players may not play because they already locked into their position. I think some of the Detroit,
So you think Dak will play today?
yeah, because they still trying to get the spot. They still got the number 2 seed, so he got to. You know what I'm saying? Because even though they're playing against the lowly, terrible Washington Commanders, it's a rivalry game, so anything could still happen.
Yeah,
So
you're right. You're right. The rivalry games is kind of iffy, man. So
yeah, but I'm gonna say this about your boy. I'm gonna say this. If I agree with what Jerry has to do, because being a fan of a team that hasn't had a legit quarterback in 20 years, or a franchise quarterback in 30 years with Joe Theismann, I do believe if you got a player like a Dak that's still considered a top 10 type quarterback, you got to take care of him. So I don't have a problem with him getting paid.
okay. So I'm gonna piggyback on what you said about Pittsburgh Steelers. That they should be in the sweepstakes for Russell Wilson. I agree, but I just gotta say, bro, for Mike Tomlin to go 10-7 with that team that he has, that's crazy to me. Like crazy, man. Like Mike Tomlin played 4 different quarterbacks this year, man.
Yeah. He should be coach of the year.
Yeah, he's the truth. He is the truth. But I think Ryan gonna get coach of the year. You know what I mean? I think Ryan gonna get coach of the year.
Who?
Yeah, he
Well,
was coach of the year. But man, that's really all I have, bro.
Because Houston was supposed to be like 1-16 this year, or 2-15. They weren't even supposed to picture at all. So yeah, I agree. D'Amico Ryan's probably a get it. But either one, I wouldn't be mad if either one got it. I wouldn't argue against either one of them. You know,
Right.
anybody beside them two, I would have an argument. But them two definitely should get it. In one of the two. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is a great Sunday. We're gonna watch these games, and you know what I'm saying, everybody have a blessed start of a good year. I hope everybody having a good start so far. It's already been a weekend. Like this first week already went by real fast of the year. So I just hope everybody have a great week. And you know what I'm saying, and see y'all next week on the next go round.
And before we get off, just want to say shout out to the Village Global Network, She Real Radio. Shout out to T-Dubs Entertainment. You can now listen to us in 181 countries and counting. And, you know, just shout out to everybody that support us. Man, peace and blessings. Happy Sunday, man. Be blessed, stay safe, and enjoy life and watch football.
Yes, sir. And we out of here.
People seen it, but they just don't know.
What I told you, Cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.